Welcome to Mindset. This is the last episode of Series 4. We'll be back in September. I am Barbara.
I am Virginia.
And we have Darryl. Say hello, Darryl. So today's session, it's going to be really cool because we are going to look at some typical life situations that might distress us and what we can do to sort those out. And Virginia is going to be live scribing. Yay! This is our tool of the week. What we've done for you guys at home is we've made a list of situations where we thought they could apply to a lot of people and where you might get distressed. So for example, something that often happens to me is like waking up and struggling to get out of bed. So what would you suggest what can people do if they wake up and they're just like, oh, and they don't want to face another day, that kind of thing?
Okay. So I think what I'll try to do is I'll try to stay around some of the skills that we've gone through.
Yeah.
That we've gone through already. So you wake up and you're struggling to get out of bed. Well, what could you do in that moment?
Yeah.
So one of the things that you could think about is, well, what would be the consequences? What are the benefits and the consequences of doing that? So most people that wake up and struggle to get out of bed or don't want to get out of bed and stay there when it's not planned, what happens is they make the decision to stay in bed and they feel momentarily better. Yeah. And that momentarily better is like, oh, there's a bit of relief. But if that's something that happens to you, let's say you said it's something that happens to you. Okay. So how long do you feel that relief for?
Like 5 minutes, not even
5 minutes, right. And then what happens? Then
I start reading because I think, oh, I'm just going to distract myself and read a book for a bit, and then maybe I'll fall back asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that doesn't work, because most of the time it doesn't work, the very second I stop reading, the distress is there, the same thoughts are there when I didn't want to get out of bed in the first place.
Right. So judgments, I've got to get out. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
like sadness, I don't want to deal with today.
Okay. And when you make the decision to stay in bed, how long do you plan to stay in bed for? Like, is it all day, or do you say to yourself,
no,
I'm going to have another hour?
Yeah, I just say I'm gonna just see if I can get another hour's sleep, or if I can just distract my mind for a bit by reading, so that then I can get up.
Right. And how many times has reading then done what you wanted it to do? You then zip out of bed. 0? How many times did you try it?
Every day for the past, not every day, but most days for the past 6 months. I'm a slow learner.
Right. Well, so I think we talked about in the past about something called checking the facts, right? Yeah. Just looking, the benefits, the consequences, checking the facts about whether it does work for you.
Yeah.
Another skill that we talked about, or one of the tenets of mindfulness, is about focusing on doing what works for you. Not what you think works for you, but what actually
works. Yeah.
Yeah. So would you say, if you were to apply the effectively, would you say that is an effective strategy for you?
No, because I had actually never checked the facts on it the way we did just now.
Right. So you've had a let's help her check the facts. I haven't got a calculator with me, but my guess is that
I do. But
yeah. So 6 months is divided 365 is 180. So you've done this 180 times. No,
6 months.
No, 6 months is
180.
180.
180. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've tried this 180 times.
Roughly,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, and it hasn't worked for you, any of them. Okay.
I'm sure I'm not the only one. Please feel free to pop it in the Q&A if this kind of thing happens to you.
Look, I'm pretty sure that this happens to people.
Yeah.
But so is it that you start thinking that it will be different this time, or is it just that you never realized?
I just never realized it didn't help, and also I think, I just realized I never realized it didn't help.
Okay, so now you do have the facts. What do you think? Right, so 180 times and it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
Are you thinking, I don't know, maybe try something else?
Yeah, actually 2 times or 3 times I've fallen back asleep, and that's been
Okay.
good.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds great. So what's that as a percentage?
Yeah.
Like as in an
Not
exam?
even 10%. It's like
I think you'll find it's
0.03 or something.
Yeah, it's less than 1%.
Yeah,
So
it's tiny.
I don't think you'd bet on a horse under those circumstances.
No.
Okay, so anything spring to mind from what we talked about over the what you could do instead? So there's laying there. I bet you lay curled up over onto your side. You know, we talked about skills about willing hands, half smart. Have you tried that?
To get out of bed?
Yeah.
Instead of laying there hunched over, letting your
I've tried paced breathing. Has anybody else tried? If you pop it in the Q&A, because you know this isn't just about me, right? What have you tried? You know, when you're laying there in bed and you want to try to get out of bed.
Oh no, let's keep it about
Well, I tried the paced breathing. I haven't thought about doing willing hands. I haven't thought about that, but yeah, you can try that at home. Do willing hands with a smile.
We can send people.
Don't do what I do and not do it.
We can send people information on that.
Yeah.
How to do that particular skill. Okay, but then there's also other things you could do as well, isn't there? Like, so now you're in accepting that this is something that you find difficult and what you've been doing is not working. In terms of problem solving, thinking about other skills. I mean, I was thinking about the emotion that makes you stay in bed. What do you think that is?
Yeah, well, sadness.
Sadness.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, I don't know, I think in series 2, we talked about opposite actions.
Yeah.
For sadness. Do you know that skill?
Yeah, you do the opposite to what you're tempted to do. So if sadness, the urge is to stay in bed and curl up, you do the opposite and you smile and you leap out of bed and greet the day, kind of thing, even though you don't feel like it.
Yeah. So you know so there's that when you stay in bed, but so when you jump up out of bed, and you know those days you just get up and you just go. How much of a struggle is it then?
Well, it's not a lot.
Right. So you don't struggle. You don't like pad to the bathroom and like.
No, I'm a morning person.
You sound like it.
I am. It's not because I'm groggy. It's the emotions.
Right. Okay. So you can act opposite to that emotion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like you think sadness is about laying there and not doing anything.
Well, shutting out the world. And,
yeah.
Avoiding stuff.
Yeah. So you can see actually that when people talk about sadness and not wanting to do things, and you can see this through medications, you can see this through, if you go to the GP, for example, and you say to him, well, I feel really sad and I don't want to get out of bed. What's he likely to do?
Well, he says, go do some exercise and eat right and all that stuff. So I do make myself go running. I've just already done the reading thing first.
Yeah. He might also give you some medications that lift up your mood, or people that come to see therapists and say, oh, I just feel sad all the time. We say to them, well, get up, get going, get the day going. So although we're tempted to stop and lay in bed when we feel sad, it rarely works out.
Yeah.
It rarely works out for many people unless they're exhausted, which is not sadness, is it?
Yeah. But what if you get up too early? Like, what if because a lot of people, I know I'm not the only one, like, don't sleep very well. So, for example, the last couple of days, I wake up at like 4:30 in the morning. And then I think, okay, well, Darryl said I got to get out of bed. But it's not enough sleep.
Well,
what do you do then?
Well, actually,
you can't fall asleep.
Sleep's not there's two things you can do. One, sleep's not the crucial element of it. Sleep is a habit like anything else. And admittedly, it's a difficult habit to change or to get into it. But you would practice things called sleep hygienes or sleep protocols.
Oh, right, like a healthy sleep routine.
Yeah. And there's lots of things that you can do to encourage yourself to sleep, like paired muscles and different things like that. But one of the biggest factors of causing problems with sleep is the worry about not getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
That's what keeps people awake. Because they start thinking, well, I should be asleep.
Yeah.
And actually, there's what you could aim for instead is what they call reverie. which is reverie is like a restful, peaceful state.
Yeah.
So just think, okay, I'm not sleeping. I'm gonna look around the room. I'm gonna make sure my body is relaxed. I'm just gonna aim to rest here.
Yeah.
And that would be the thing that I would tell people to do: rest. Also, and people have other temptations. People think that they need to be warmer, or mostly it's better to have a cold room.
Yeah.
In terms of sleeping. So there's lots of different things.
For sure, yeah.
Okay. So let's say you get out of bed.
Yeah.
What's the next hurdle?
The next hurdle is not wanting to eat, like not wanting to eat breakfast, for example.
Okay. So you don't want to eat breakfast because what? Because you don't feel like eating?
Yeah, because I don't feel like eating, or because maybe like if the sadness is still there, then I don't know about you guys at home, but for me, if there's quite a lot of like sadness or distress, it feels like a big ball of air right here. So I don't want to eat anything because it's like trying to get something past that tightness in my chest is like not easy.
Yeah. Let me get.
I can't read that.
Let me get to that. It says, I sometimes call someone who knows staying in bed isn't beneficial to me, and they help motivate me get out of bed. Also, talking to someone on the phone generally makes me want to walk around. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
I know people that throw a glass of water on their bed so they don't get back into it. Okay. So look, so you don't want to eat. You don't want to eat because you've got. Where's the ball of air?
In the middle of my chest and in the throat as well. So it's
Okay.
a whole.
So so when you don't eat, so you start the day and you don't eat. What happens then? Does that work out well?
I think it works out well.
Okay, we'll say it sounds like checking the facts again. Does it work out well? What happens to you when you don't eat? Do you notice that you start to feel happier and happier, and your day starts to swim along in just the way that you hoped it would?
No, because I just get busy. I just start doing stuff like working and everything and I try to go as long as possible just working and not. Because I'm not even hungry. It's just that air thing is still there. So then by the time it's like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, then I think I better.
You're bombing it, right. So what's the purpose of eating? Like,
I know, feed your brain and all that stuff.
What's the purpose for? What's the purpose of eating genuinely?
To stay alive.
Right. So it's not for anything else other than that, right?
Yeah.
So we know that there's a relationship between actually, I mean, if you just looked at it in input and output, that actually, do you think woolly mammoth burn over a stone fire tasted delicious?
Probably not.
So right. So look, human beings have only been eating for taste and for pleasure for a minuscule amount. So if you think about how long there's been restaurants that were designed for delicious food rather than just places you eat.
Yeah.
And then you think how long humans have been on Earth. I can see you've got your calculator, right? So, humans have been around what, 200,000 years? I don't even know.
I don't know.
Do you know
long time.
No. Let's say they've been around 200,000 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've had restaurants and eating for pleasure for how long do you think?
100 years?
100 years would be 1921.
No, before that.
So maybe about 100.
200,000 years.
200,000, well.
We had restaurants for like 200. Yeah, 18. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go mad and say it's, so, yeah. So humans have only been eating for pleasure 1% of the time.
Yeah, well, 10%. 10% of 200,000 would be, oh no, oops.
1%.
Oops. Good thing I'm not teaching math. Yep.
Yeah. So, and that's what people get caught up. That's what modern people are getting caught up in, this idea, aren't they? And so, what you can see is that that's not the purpose. So, tell me what happens then. So, is it working?
Well, it doesn't. My emotion doesn't change. But then I have tried eating something, and I don't think my emotion changes either. But I know that you would say that's not true.
Well, no, actually, I wouldn't say that because I could be totally wrong here. I'm just going by.
I know for most people it works.
Well, I'm not even. I'm just going by all the research ever done. That's all I'm going to. I'm not saying that I know for sure. but I don't know of any research that says that you should wake up and not eat all day. I know there's research that says there can be some benefits of fasting,
Yeah, till noon, yeah.
And intermittent fasting, but there isn't any research that says just don't eat. Yeah. But if there is, I'd love to see it. So so what the skills would be around this is that if you struggle with your emotions, there are certain things that you can do to protect yourself against feeling these kinds of emotions. And one of them is to eat regularly. You can eat healthily, but eat regularly, get rest, get exercise, do things that are a little bit difficult for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of us, when we're trying to protect ourselves from negative emotions, we don't take on too many things in case we're going to fail. But if you were to think about, babies, you've got kids, right? Well, when you had a small baby, what was that child trying to do?
Get all attention and food.
Yeah, yeah. And what you see with babies is you see them that they're always trying to do more than they're capable of.
Yeah.
So, when a baby's born, he's trying to sit up straight away. It's trying to hold its head. So it's trying to hold its head up. And even before it can hold its head up, it's trying to sit up on its own. And then it's trying to stand up, all before it's ready. And even when it's standing up, then it's crawling. When it's crawling, it's trying to walk. And when it's walking, it's trying to run. And you see babies or humans always striving to do more than they're capable of. And this is how we've evolved. And so one of the things that helps us do that is to do things. It's called building mastery. And we can put this up. It's about doing things constantly that are just a little bit outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So this is not overly doing it. So I don't know. I don't think you're afraid of public speaking, right?
Nope, I love it.
Right. But some people are afraid of public speaking.
Yeah.
And if they were building mastery, and so they're in meetings and they never say anything. Yeah. To build mastery, what you wouldn't do is suddenly chair a meeting.
No, you start with one word or answer a question or something.
Yeah. And then once you do that, you would build on it again. And you would build on it again. And when people do that, they feel a sense of accomplishment. Yeah, part of evolution. And this actually helps. This extension and this extending ourselves is actually what they call living. Yeah, because that's when people feel alive, when they're extending themselves, doing it, and then going on. So then when like if somebody else is struggling with the same thing, like if they don't want to eat, let's say if they do. Well, what's a little bit difficult, right? When you don't want to eat, what's something that would be a little bit difficult? Eating something, because then I feel sick afterwards. Yeah, and then what would you do once you were sick? Then you would practice maybe see what happens. Just sitting there and feeling sick, but I've done that, and then I just feel sick for the rest of the day. Well, maybe then you would practice. Well, what would I do then when I feel sick? Because you see where you're describing has got nothing to do with where the food goes. Yeah. Because of that, I know. Because our stomach is not here, is it? No. Our stomach is way over the other side. So you might have an emotion there, anxiety. You might have worries about eating or what you're eating. Then that pain is a signal. And that's what we really want to think about. Like when we have uncomfortable feelings, they're either telling us that something's changing, or that something needs to change. So we can embrace our pain a little bit more. Yeah. So what are some things that people can do at home then to build mastery? Because sometimes what I do a different activity than eating that builds mastery. So like playing piano or something like that. Yeah. And even if I do 5 minutes, I do find that that works. Yeah. Some people learn to chopstick, some people learn to crochet, but just do something that's, if you're a computer whiz, then getting on a computer and whizzing through is probably not the thing. If you're a computer whiz, maybe the thing to build mastery for you is to go out and have conversations with people, or just do something that's outside of your just a little bit difficult. Yeah. Okay. I know that we had we had like a whole other, we had a whole other list of not activities, but like situations and stuff, which we won't have time to go through. But it is a shame. Is there anything, but we can put some of them on Instagram, because
Virginia's done some great drawings of them. But is there anything else that you would say, like, as a kind of all-in-one skill for random distressing situations that we haven't talked about? Just to kind of wrap it up.
One skill, observing.
Well,
The observe.
oh.
The observe.
Observe.
Look, without, yeah, observing and describe, yeah, what they call the what skills, you know, they would be the things that, so maybe we can pop that up as well.
What
Observing,
skills, yeah.
describing, participating. I suppose the ultimate skill is to participate in your life as it is. You know, throw yourself into what you've got to do every day.
Oh, that's the mindfulness in the moment thing, right?
Yeah, that would be,
Okay.
If there was one thing, I would be broke because I just see people once and say, there you go. So,
well, yeah, clearly it's not that easy, right? Thank you. You know what you can practice over the week if you like. We've mentioned several skills here, and we will put them on the Instagram channel.
And Share the Mindset. Don't forget to follow us.
Exactly. Yeah, Share the Mindset. Okay, right, excellent. So
thank you so much for watching series 4, and just a reminder that Mindset is not designed for crisis support. So if you find yourself unable to keep yourself safe, please go to your nearest A&E department or call Samaritans at 116-123.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you very soon after the summer. In the meantime, keep working on your mindset.
Bye.
We are getting there. It wasn't out loud, but at least it was like mouthed. Goodbye.